Howdy, Steamers! It's Sheila K here, and I'm so happy you joined me today. Come in close, because we have a special poem to recite together today. Can you guess what this poem's about? Here's a clue. It's about a large object with a ladder that you use to climb to the top, and you sit down and you glide all the way to the bottom. Have you guessed? Right! This poem is about slides. Our poem today is called Whoosh. Listen, here's how it goes. We've climbed the ladder, we've reached the top, now we zip down the slide and we plop to a stop. Say it with me this time, okay? Here we go. We've climbed the ladder, we've reached the top, now we zip down the slide and we plop to a stop. Thank you for reciting that with me. I had a question for you. Why do you think our poem today is called Whoosh? It's kind of an interesting word, right? What are your ideas about that? Because you go down, okay? Because you say whoosh or go fast? Right, that's why we use that word. It's kind of a special word to describe something that moves very, very fast. And when we slide down a slide, we move pretty fast most of the time, right? Do you ever get a tickly feeling in your tummy when you slide down a slide? I bet you've seen lots of different kinds of slides. You've probably been on a slide at your school, maybe inside your activity room or in a gym or at the playground at your school. Those slides are just right for your size, right? But you've probably seen other slides that are a little bit bigger or a little bit taller at a playground or even at a pool. Some bigger slides at playgrounds are really high and tall, and they might wind around a little bit like a snake, and they might be a better size for kids who are a little bit bigger than you. Or even at a pool, you've probably seen special slides that have water running down them. Some of them go straight down, some of them wind around like a snake, just like the slides at playgrounds, and people plop into the water. So when you get a little bit bigger, you'll probably be able to ride on those slides. And I was thinking about other slides that are really, really giant. Sometimes you see them at carnivals or at theme parks, and lots of people can go on them at the same time because they're so huge. And we see people climb all the way to the top of the ladder, and they go down 3 or 4 times. If I was sliding on a slide like that, I would certainly get a tickly feeling in my tummy. I know that. I was thinking there are other kinds of slides too that have a special name, and they're called ramps. I bet you've seen ramps too. So we know that slides move people from one spot to another spot, but we use ramps to move objects from one spot to another spot, and people too most of the time. Sometimes you see ramps in front of someone's house or in front of a building so that people can walk on the ramp instead of climbing up and down the steps. We also see some kinds of really large ramps that help people move on and off a plane or maybe on and off a boat, and even larger ramps that move giant machines like cars or boats. So ramps help move objects from place to place most of the time. But I also think that you've probably seen some smaller ramps or maybe even played with them at your school. Maybe when you're doing free play and you're playing with blocks or other kinds of things. So I wanted to show you a ramp that I made, and I thought we could try out a few objects on my ramp, okay? Let's get the cover off. And I'm going to move it over so you can see it better. Think you can see it pretty well now, right? Okay. And I have a few objects here with me that I'd like to try out on this ramp so we can see what happens. Here's a golf ball. I bet you've seen a golf ball before. Let's see what happens when I set it down and then let it go. Let's see. Wow, that moved pretty fast, right? Let's see if I take another kind of ball, a ping pong ball. Now this ping pong ball is about the same size as the golf ball, but the ping pong ball is much lighter than the golf ball. Let's see what happens when we send it down the ramp. Wow, It moved pretty fast, but you could hardly hear it. The golf ball made a noise when it went down the ramp. Now I have another object. Here's a marble. And this is kind of interesting about the marble. The marble is smaller than the ping pong ball, but it feels heavier to me when I hold it. Let's see what happens when I let go of the marble. Wow, the marble moved pretty fast and it kind of made a noise just like the golf ball did. Now I have another ball I want to show you. Here's a ball of Play-Doh. Now this ball of Play-Doh is a little bit smaller than the ping pong ball, but it feels heavier and it also feels kind of wet and cold. You know how Play-Doh feels, right? Let's see what happens when we send the Play-Doh ball down the ramp. Wow, it was a little bit sticky too, but it still went down pretty fast. Now I want to show you one more object. Here's a little race car with wheels. Let's see what happens when we send the race car down the ramp. Wow, that went pretty fast too, and it kind of made a noise. So all of the objects that we just put on the ramp made a whooshing sound. They went pretty fast, right? So slides, most of the time, we use for people to go down, right? They move people from place to place. Ramps move objects from place to place, and people also, but ramps can help us get in and out of buildings differently and move light objects, small objects, and giant objects too, like boats or cars. Wow, we learned so much about slides and ramps today, we steamers. We recited a poem about a slide. We learned about all the different kinds of slides that are out there. We also learned that ramps are a kind of slide too, and that we use ramps to move objects from place to place, and that maybe you can even make your own ramp. I hope you get a chance to do that soon with your friends maybe, or slide down a slide soon. Oh, it was so much fun spending time with you today, we steamers. We'll recite another poem or sing a song together again very soon. But now it's time for our special way to say goodbye. I'll say it once, and then you say it back to me, okay? See you later, alligator. Gotta slide, little Clyde. Bye-bye, butterfly. Bye.